If I could just start with you, Chea, I was very interested in the way in which you are using these excluded communities, excluded workers, to be actually part of your supply chain. And it's said in your film that there's no loss in efficiency or effectiveness from these people. How do you achieve that?
First of all, the fact is not that important to find the suppliers. It's what you need, right? Starting from that point, you can search really for the suppliers that you can give the award. So it's a trust. It's a matter of trust. This morning we talked a lot about the trust. So when you know what you want to buy, either a service or a product, you can go and find the suppliers. Even though they come from the communities that you saw in the video, we address to 5 communities of enterprises. The one who are employing people far from the job market, social inclusion, enterprise who are including the people with disability or the fair trade, because we address to the small communities, marginalized, rural in the countries in the south of the planet, but also the small businesses and the enterprise who are owned by minority. When we go to them, we need, of course, to help them, because till now they cannot work with us for full of reason. So if you are sincere to do that, you have your team, you have your buyers, but out of the buyers, we involve also the other department of the group to help them to get the expertise and to get the know-how to work with us, right? So it's a matter of training the new suppliers to create a new portfolio of suppliers to work with us with only one objective, which is to give access to employment to the one who cannot access till now, or to give, via this access to the employment, the access of the revenue. Of course, we do hope that with that, one day they buy L'Oreal, because we are talking about business, right? That make the program sustainable, right? There's no philanthropy, there's no mecenate, there's just another way to do business.
Do you see it that way, Claire? This has just got to be another way to do business if it's going to be sustainable.
It's absolutely the way we want to do it. If we want this to be sustainable, to be included in our core business is mobility. And this is the reason why we selected this program and we built this program from scratch. The way those dealers, which are all voluntary, decide by themselves to enter into this program is because they have really the feeling that it is also part of their business and responsibility, being an employer on the territory, to really be part of this trait d'union, we call this in French, between the people and the jobs. And very often what is missing is the need to go from one place to the other.
Robert, we've been talking about various excluded groups, whether disabled, people living in poverty, people without access to the means like the mobility to get their jobs. Your youth package that you're going to be announcing next week, how is it going to address these issues?
It's not going to look specifically at the disadvantaged or the excluded, but you've mentioned the disabled, although clearly there are young disabled and the young impoverished who often face even more problems than the less difficult facing young people. The solutions to their problems are often very similar. The need to ensure that they have the skills and are able to access ways of getting the skills, that companies offer them internships, apprenticeships, that governments, via public employment services, ensure that they're not just left alone after school. So they're also addressed, but there's not going to be particular attention paid. I mean, in this sense, young people as a whole are considered a disadvantaged group. I mean, with 50% unemployment rate, you can see why.
Thank you. Right, let's open up to questions from the floor now. If you have a question to ask, could you please raise your hand and a microphone will come to you, and if you could then please just tell us who you are and who you represent. In the front here. Yeah.
My My name is Daniel Schaubacher. I represent the Network in Business Ethics, European Business Forum. What about the gender issue? I think it is vital, you see, that we promote, and this is being done actually, but we should advocate this partnership between men and women. What about the team dynamics? Consultation, you see, non-adversarial consultation at every level of an organization. By this I mean participative decision making. If some of the speakers could deal with consultation or decision making, see, within teams. Second, the gender issue. What do they think about the gender issue? The importance that we somehow, you see, blend the unique competencies of women with the unique competencies of men. There is one wing which is female, the other is male. So that the bird can rise, you see, we need this equilibrium and this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, let's start with the gender issue. Chea, would you like to address that first? Is this an issue in the programs that you run? Do you make particular efforts to ensure you have a gender balance within them?
I have to recognize that in my survey, I did not know among the 15,000 beneficiaries that profit on this program, how many are men or how many are women. Because what we want is to address to the country where we're operating the right things that they need, the right issue, the right social issues that they need. Sometimes it's probably in a country a woman is maybe underestimate, under-highlight, but sometimes it is not, right? I come from 14 years in China. The issues of equality is not the issue for men or women. But the big issues is not even the recruitment and employment. We are not talking about unemployment rate. We are talking about the migration. This is another, issues of the exclusion. The social exclusion is when you are born in the wrong place, on the wrong time, you cannot find job. So we are more addressing to this part of the society, this part of the diversity, and not really to the man or the woman. Just for you, right? I'm 21 years in L'Oreal. I was the first lady assigned as a factory manager. I'm a lady, I'm not a man, and I'm Caucasian. I'm not Caucasian at all. So, we talk about diversity is when the people are the best on the right side, we have to appoint them.
Claire?
I'm glad to take your point. Within the corporate social responsibility policy that I'm managing for the group, we have 4 pillars. The project I presented was about sustainable mobility. One of the other pillars is diversity, because we are absolutely convinced that diversity as a whole, and within diversity, gender issue is specific in the automotive industry. I will explain later why. We consider that diversity is a real engine for 2 things, performance and equality. For those, this is a big engine for increasing performance, but also to respect the equality of chance of people. And why did I say that gender issue is absolutely key? We are at Renault 17% of women within this company. The automotive sector is really a very male sector. And for this reason, this was the very first topic we worked on. We launched an intensive program for gender development, for female development, and in the different departments of the company. Manufacturing, as you mentioned, but also engineering, sales and marketing, support function. We are today, this is funny because I said we are 17% of women within Renault, and we are today the very first social network of the company. In terms of quantity, we are the very first, developing a lot of activities, bringing a lot of energy and changes within the company. Sometimes the men are a little afraid, but they are supporting us because they are also part of the network. The female network, this female network, is a mixed network. And this is very important, specifically in a very male industry. And I consider that this is a kind of mother fight, the gender issue, but all the diversity, the other diversity aspects are also key leverage factors. So thank you for your question.
Thank you. I realized there was another part to your question, but we'll maybe come back to that. Is there any other question?
Could I say something on this? Because I'd love to disagree.
Robert, why don't I just take another question?
Okay, but I want to disagree with my co-panelists.
Oh, well, why don't you do that first?
Okay, I think gender is a major issue still. Look at the Chinese National Central Committee, who've just been appointed. How many women?
Wow, but
No, that's okay.
How many?
We
How
know
many?
they're not.
Zero?
Zero.
Zero.
How many people
Now it's
were on
zero.
the stage in the first part of this morning's session? One. Gender is obviously an issue, still an issue. CSR should be good for gender. Companies are committed to improving the gender balance. Didn't happen very much on boards. What happened when the Commission proposed a 40% quota? Massive outrage, outcry, appalling. This will upset companies massively. Well, Norway has this, and the Norwegian industry seems to work quite well. I mean, why is it such a problem in every other country? That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a question. Unless you... Yes.
This is Steven Sonneels from Ashoka. It is a question for both L'Oréal and Renault. First of all, thanks very much for your nice videos, and I think they demonstrate a big social impact. But I think we could say that social is the new green. Greening is maturing in many industries, and we've seen in the early days that there was a lot of greenwashing to kind of boost the corporate image. Now, how would you avoid that those kind of programs also kind of give the maybe wrong kind of view that this is also social washing? So, in other words, could you elaborate a little bit more on the fundamental business rationale behind the programs? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that is a very good question, and we did discuss this a bit earlier. We've heard about greenwashing. This is a very good term, social washing. Let's start with you, Claire. Is it just social washing?
I hope not, and we all have to really fight against this. First of all, I don't want to oppose green and social. I mean, this is, we have to really put them together. And we have to avoid as much as possible this kind of social washing risk. And the best way is really to include this into the business practices at all levels, and to really integrate this in the daily activity, like we do in the dealers, which are volunteers. And this is the second point. If the people are volunteer, they don't do this just for marketing issues, although they know and they are conscious, and I don't want to hide myself behind my finger. We know that this can be also a lever, but just one of the levers, and this is not the purpose. The purpose is social impact. And if repeatedly we say the target number one, objective number one is social impact, and this is something that we are measuring on a weekly basis, in this case, I hope that we will not go on this side of the X-washing issue.
Although I think the point behind the question is, for it to be sustainable, there needs to be more than a social rationale. There also needs to be a business rationale. What is your business getting from this?
Alors, the first element is innovation. We know that all the mobility issue is really shifting. The car makers have to consider that we will have, for many reasons, environmental, social, etc. We are in a movement that really a shift of this industry, and looking at the needs of the people who have less revenues, with the more constraintful segment, is something that will help us to learn things for the rest of the business. So social innovation will also go one day mainstream. That's a very key element. And at the beginning, people are not convinced. I mean, when you only advocate this, people are not always convinced. But showing the small experience that are really working, they say, okay, but this kind of service, the mobility platform, could be also developed for other areas and other publics. Then,
I think that's good. That's a good answer, because what we see here is that we see this is not just for social presentation of the company, but also that you can find product innovation for the future. Do you see it in the same way, Chea?
Yes, absolutely. I think that first, to avoid that there is a social washing, greenwashing, etc., you have to prove that this is a result. The result proves you that you are not just saying things for marketing. So we have result. Of course, it's just the start of the project. So the result is remain teeny, right? But I'm sure that it's coming. Second point, fully integrated in the business. So meaning what? Meaning that now the roadmap of a buyer, each of the buyers, the 600 buyers of the group, is including solidarity sourcing suppliers. They have to find that. They have to look for that. So, and the question is what they gain. They gain a new portfolio of suppliers. This is also another way to do the business, because you know that we cannot only link to one suppliers or just a group of suppliers. It's a new way to find new suppliers, new sourcing for them. So this is also fully integrated in the way we see the business.
So just to conclude, let's start with you, Robert. One thing you need companies to do to make this work for you, and then I'm going to ask Claire and Chea, one thing you'd like to see the European Commission do that will help you in your business. So start with you, Robert. What do you need from the companies?
Genuine commitment.
Okay. Chea, what do you need from the Commission?
Collaboration, because we have a saying in Chinese. Let's say that a drop water, when there's a lot of drop of water, we can make a river, right? But today we're in EU, so we are much more ambitious. So the target is to be a lot of drop of water make an ocean. So altogether, I'm sure that the social impact that we get already in a few years, we can make it becoming ocean.
Claire?
I would say include mobility issues within the social investment package that you are preparing for next week.
Well, that's got us off to a very good start. I'm sure there's plenty more to discuss, but I'd like to thank our three panelists, Robert, Chea, and Claire. Thank you very much.